Let me say before I go into my message that I have a friend that down through the years has proven himself so worthy of our respect and our regard. And anytime he's in town, I insist that he come by and brief us on where we are in the struggle in his part of this land. He represented the Terrence Clutcher family when Terrence was killed by police, a police woman in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Had me come out, we led the marches. He's also represented the survivors of the Tulsa race massacre, that Black Wall Street, as we call it. And in fact, last time he was here, he brought Mother Fletcher, who is 109 now. And she had a little brother with her who was 102. And her brother died since he was here. He was here, he's gone, but Mother Fletcher is still, right, moving on, as the old folks say. So I want to hear a few words and update from my brother, a real giant in the world of activism and in the fight in the courtrooms and on the battlefield. Let's hear from Attorney DeMario Solomon-Simmons.
Thank you, Reverend Al. I am Attorney DeMario Solomon-Simmons. Law is my ministry. Justice is my passion. It's exciting to be here with you today. It's been a very, very difficult week, as Reverend Al stated. We lost one of the three known living survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre, which was Hughes Van Ellis. We called him Uncle Red. He was 102 and a half years old. And just give him a hand. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, but just... And I won't be here long, but before I tell you a little bit about Uncle Red and where we are in litigation, I just want to just recognize a couple of my team members who are here. If they'll just stand up, one of our board members, Jerome Clark is back there, Sade Williams on our digital team, and Jerry Johnson, who's with the Human Rights Watch that does a lot of work with us at Justice for Greenwood. I'm excited and thankful to be, I feel like I'm at home here at the House of Justice. And I feel that way because of the love that Reverend Al and this organization has given us over the years. And then every time I get to sit on this stage and I look right here to my right and I see that article with Reverend Al with us at front page in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all the places that Reverend Al has been over the many, many decades that we're on the wall right here next to the stage, lets me know I am at home when I'm here at the House of Justice. And Reverend Al, I know you just had a birthday. And I want to say happy birthday, and in honor of your birthday, I'm going to be donating $1,000 to National Action Network today. Because this work, as the comptroller just stated, is necessary and is expensive. And we need to make sure that this organization and Reverend Al has everything he needs to continue to fight on our behalf all over this world, and not just here in New York. Reverend Al, Dr. Tiffany Crutcher told me to tell you hello, and Dominique, she texted me and said, you bet sure you tell them hello, so I'm doing that. Listen, I come from Tulsa, Oklahoma, home of Black Wall Street, a location and the biggest, baddest city for black people in the history of this country. Before the Tulsa Race Massacre, there was 12 to 15,000 African Americans living and thriving in Tulsa who had businesses, homes, hospitals, banks, planes, cars, and everything else you can imagine. More professionals per capita than anywhere ever in the history of this country. On May 31st to June 1st, my community was bombed, destroyed, burnt down. Over 1,550 homes and businesses burnt to the ground. Over 3,000 people disappeared, never to be seen from again. Over $200 million in property damage alone. Really, the images that we're seeing now in the Middle East is what we experienced in Tulsa. And unlike what's happening now in the Middle East, there was no one coming for our aid. There was no one sending us any help. And there was nothing has been done for us to this day. Not one penny has been paid in reparations. Not one home has been rebuilt by the perpetrators of the massacre. And of all the survivors, there were over 9,000 survivors. Until last week, there were only 3 living. That was 109-year-old Viola Ford Fletcher, 108-year-old Leslie Benefield Randall, who will be 109 on November 10th, and 102-year-old Hughes Van Ellis. We lost Hughes Van Ellis, Uncle Red, on Monday. It was a huge loss for us. He was more than just a survivor. He was more than just my client. He was a partner. He was an inspiration. He was a teacher. He was a family member to us, and he represented for our survivor communities and for our people throughout this country as a person that was continue to have that faith. I've heard it all day, the faith and your change will come. Uncle Red was a person that survived the bombing of Oklahoma, of Tulsa. He survived. He was a combat veteran during World War II. He survived getting bombed day after day in the Pacific Theater. He survived Jim Crow. He survived not having a formal education. He was a man that was married for decades and decades to his beautiful wife until she passed. He had 7 children that he had to work 2 and 3 jobs for 40 years, 7 days a week to make sure they would be educated. And even with all he went through, he always believed that a change will come. I keep hearing that in this mirror today, that change will come. He believed that change will come. Now, the last time we were in Washington, D.C. in May of this year, on the Joy Reid show, he said, I do not want to die without seeing justice. Well, unfortunately, Uncle Red has passed on without seeing justice. But we're going to still fight for justice. We're going to still fight for the change to come. We're going to still fight for reparations. We're going to still fight for justice for Greenwood. We're going to still say the name of Greenwood and Black Wall Street. We will not retreat. We will not run. We will not sit down. We will continue to move forward in the name of Uncle Red, in the name of the 3,000 that were disappeared, in the name of the community that was wiped out. They tried to wipe us off, but I stand here today. I stand here today. They cannot wipe us out. They cannot stop us. We will get justice. The fact that I'm standing here today is some form of justice. But I want to tell you, as I'm going to prepare to sit down, where we are with our case. Last time I was here, I let you know that they had dismissed our case at the district court level, and we were going to appeal. We filed our appeal on August 4th, and God is good, because on August 7th, the Oklahoma Supreme Court accepted our appeal. They didn't have to, but they accepted our appeal. And then, just a couple of weeks ago, they ordered for additional briefing. They didn't have to do that, and they did it. And we filed our additional briefing on Tuesday, October 10th. Now, Uncle Red died on Monday, October 9th. That means we had to amend and edit our document, Reverend Al, and we had to tell the court that Uncle Red had passed. And we made the point to the court, and I want everyone to understand this. When we say time is of the essence, we mean it. When we say this is the last opportunity, we mean it. And all we're asking for the Oklahoma Supreme Court to do is to give us the opportunity to get back into court. That's it. We're not asking for them to give us reparations at this point. We're not asking them to give us victory at this point. We just want to be treated like every other litigant, plaintiff, person in Oklahoma and have an opportunity, the first time in 102 years, to go in court, prove what happened, and then get the remedy that's necessary. So I just want all of you to be praying with us, standing with us. Our last brief is due November 6th. Pray and fast that the Oklahoma Supreme Court will do the right thing and give us justice for Greenwood. 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 Thank you.
Give him a hand. DeMario Solomon-Simmons.